Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another market trading recap. I want to go ahead and jump into this trade with you guys on this trade that I went ahead and did with Coinbase. And this one, it's a really good example for data-driven analysis, data-driven trading decision making. And this is important that you guys incorporate this in your own trading as you're developing and beginning. Why? Because it gives you more confidence, more what we call conviction. Conviction is when you're there because you have evidence. You know, people, let's say the sheriff department, they don't come and serve you a warrant in your house without conviction. You know, they have reasoning. And this is very helpful as a trader, especially beginning, because it feels at the beginning that so many odds are stacked against you. And that's not really always the case. Sometimes there's plenty of opportunities, but you do need to be there, present in the market. And I guess you can also say well informed. You know, being informed in the market, I can honestly tell you it helps 10 out of 10 times, because it's like kind of, I guess, getting the message a little bit late for sometimes when you miss headlines, when you're not informed. You know, oftentimes when you're trading just based on a chart and just like looking at a screen without any, like, I guess you can say context really of what's really going on in terms of macroeconomic data, maybe political cases like this one in my example of data sets. This political one's going to be very helpful. So in this specific case, trying to reference this, right? Out of all the data sets, I used a political data set driven by, on May 14th, the Clarity Act passes Senate Banking Committee on May 14, 2026. The U.S. Clarity Act, a landmark piece of crypto regulation, cleared the Senate Banking Committee on May 14, 2026, with a 15-9 bipartisan vote, marking its significant legislative hurdle to date. This means that now crypto is being taken more serious as a federal form of payment, meaning it can transact throughout the federal government and also bigger companies. A respectable asset now being added, you know. And this was, for me, before it happened, I already kind of spotted a little bit of a pattern here. You know, I knew that the Trump administration was very supportive of crypto. Let's go ahead and show you this. Trump administration. The world's crypto. Yeah, there you go. Donald Trump promised to make the U.S. the world's crypto capital. His businesses are seizing on it. Trump being head, you know, the whole government president right now, this guy's a businessman. He's going to make a lot of transactions in his favor and, you know, a lot of the people that voted for his favor. So usually when what he says kind of goes. And me noticing the trend in the administration that they're in favor of crypto, the one bill that's going to go ahead and begin to regulate this thing as an asset and increase it through payment methods throughout, you know, bigger businesses, federal governments, even other countries, it's a little bit kind of right there, you know. And this is also how you kind of take the guessing out of trading as well, which is a big component I want you guys to realize. Taking the guessing out of trading is your only mission. When is it going to go up or down? That psychology won't get you too far. When you begin to tie pieces of the puzzle that eliminate the questioning if it's going to go up or down, it makes it more of a smoother process. Those are quality trades, quality investments, and that's what you want. More quantity, less quantity, and that's important. Just build up the habit as you go. So let's go ahead and jump into this trade. The last few trades I've been trying to do them like live, where we do replay mode and we kind of replay the power, not say the power or the price action for the companies while I'm trading them, but I notice it's kind of hard to track both of them. I find myself more time trying to control the screen than explaining really what happened. So we're going to kind of push this off and just use it straight charts that are already fixed to my entry and my exit. I didn't trade SPY, I just have it here to mark the time frame of my entry and exit. $1,605, and that was around, I believe, right there. Can we get that focus? Boom. 125%, so 1,600 in profit. Exactly the timestamps, we did it from 6:56 a.m. to 6:57, so in about an hour. That's when we went ahead and closed this trade up. And this was one, like I said, driven by the already context, the information. Hey, the Trump administration supports crypto. This is the one act, kind of piecing it together. And then I looked at the setup. Remember, in my beginners to options, if you guys haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend you do. If this is something you're trying to take serious and really learn how to make this kind of money, I put some little time into it. It's gonna feel awkward. It might not be, you know, comfortable at first, but bro, it helps. And it's not about getting it right now. It's about being better than you were before. And that's very important. So I looked at this scenario here. 218 topped, rejected, right? Came all the way down to, once again, 195. But the level I was really looking for that I noticed it wants to hold for the vast majority of the last few months, right? It broke below April, of course. We're down at these 180s, but let's see if on the bigger time frames you can see it a bit better. For the last maybe 6 months, above 200 has been hard to maintain, but very sought after. They've been trying to break past 200, achieve 200. Me currently, for the last maybe month or two, I told myself anything below 200 on Coinbase is a buy. Do I recommend buying that now in the long term as it's breaking this upward trend? Not so much, but let's stay focused here on the trade. So I knew that at 200 was a very key psychological level. And well, the one act in history that's gonna pass this thing to be, you know, regulatory compliant and now in use, hey, this might bring it up, right? And of course, it sure did. So when I found this at the beginning, I went ahead and found our levels of first support, see resistance. Let's spread it out to make it more clear for you guys. You can see support right here, boom up, boom up, boom up. You got your supply down here, boom up, boom up. You got your demand up here at the top. Well, that's technically your resistance, demand's like right here. And then you can see all these levels play out, you know, hit rejected, hit rejected, hit rejected, finally broke, you know, hit rejected, hit rejected, hit rejected. Right here, support came up, right here at supply came up, right here at supply came up. So all these levels kind of play out, right? And as I noticed, this trend was kind of forming, kind of towards the upside, breaking out of this bearish trend at the beginning of the market. I was like, hey, I know that this has a very high probability of getting passed as an act. And, you know, I had more conviction. So despite it being at borderline resistance when I entered, I had a feeling that she was going to keep this trend and want to undo some of the selling that she went from 202 down to where we are at 195. So I was hoping that around 199, she would kind of reject or either start pushing green. And that's what she was, you know, really aiming for. I wanted to go for 200 initially. And then once I seen the strength of buyers down here towards the end, and we broke past this resistance here at 201.20, that's when I was like, hey, like this has some serious strength. And once we got these aggressive buys up, because keep in mind, my screen looks like this when we're trading, and this is happening quick. Every single candle here is minutes. Boom, 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 aggressive up, gapping, opening gaps higher. Once a chart or candlestick, more specifically, it messed up there, opens up with a gap above the other one, and then it comes red and then flicks green, that gap alone is so much purchasing power, so much margin, you know, money for it to gap and move like that. So I knew we caught a run, and then I knew I didn't want to be in this too long. So the second I started seeing some sort of selling off there, I respected it. I was out of there, and 207 was when I took profits, and I left a lot on the table. She went ahead and ran up to, I believe, 220. 222 at a high, bro. The money I left on this trade was absolutely insane. I think if I would have held Coinbase, it would have netted me like around 9,700. In this case, I only walked away with 1,600. And like I've been telling you for the last couple of trades, like that's probably the hardest part. I'm pushing 124% in an hour. Why? What's out of mentality, right? Maybe, I don't know, I had a conviction, right? And that's why I was okay with pulling 142%. Like, there's not really much I expect more than that. What am I going to shoot for? 300%, 400%ers? Like, as an investor, more seasoned and experienced, like, damn, like, sure, you can hit those targets. It was 125%. So, sure, you can hit those 300, 400%ers, even 1,000%ers. They are possible. But are they very probable? It's tough. It's tough. And that's the one where like you find a lot of traders like trying to hit for the skies. But as you mature and develop, bro, like you notice just taking 40s, you know, every single day. 40%, 40%, 40%, 40%. You're compounding money at 40% every single day. You're a monster, bro. In about 6 months, you'd be probably a millionaire if you could keep that up. And that's what, you know, a lot of people don't understand and see. So as you're beginning to mature as a trade, like sometimes people try to 2-3x their money, and I see that oftentimes, people holding for these extreme percentages. Even in my Discord, you know, I talk to these individuals, I teach them, and bro, I see guys holding for 400 percenters, but by all means, bro, that's what made me, you know. I 400% on 27.5K was what shaped my whole life. So I do understand that it's a possibility, but I haven't found myself able to hold into those type of gains since then, you know. And those are the ones that really shoot compound and, man, outdo just your normal 30-40 percenters, and it can shape you your psychology, right, to want to chase those higher percentages every single time and feel that rush. But I'm telling you, it's the toughest part as a trader to find that discipline and that sweet spot of the capital it is you're aiming to, you know, grow and have. And I think just doing calculations for like what it is you're trying to make, you know, some people step into this trying to just make, you know, side income, right? But they don't have a number, they don't have a goal. And I recommend that for you guys as a beginner. Like, find an amount that you're trying to make in a week. Like, it's okay if you don't get it right in a day, one trading day. That's a little bit too short term. Like, you want to give yourself a little bit of time. So say like, hey, in a week, I want to make 200 bucks. Like, start realistic, bro. Like, if your knowledge and experience is down here, like, trading is going to be the ultimate risk, the ultimate challenge, literally all the way up here. Your results are going to be very low, and if you set expectations way up here and you don't meet them, oftentimes when people do that, you know, you set expectations and they're not met, how do you feel, good or bad? Oftentimes kind of bad. So thinking about it through that lens, set something that's like extremely, you think is like so easy, and if it's so easy, then do it. And then once you do it, try to do it maybe once or twice, 3-4 times, and then increase that. And now you're setting your goals, you know, compounding, rolling over, you know, your skill set to achieve that constant fixed result, navigating, maybe taking some stop losses. You know, that's huge, bro. There's just so much learning, you know, your data sets, getting better at collecting data, information, getting better at technical analysis, getting better at setups, you know, different components. I'm telling you, when you're trying to achieve this easy goal, you'll find yourself slip up in between. And it's just kind of trial and error for many people. I know for me it was like that. Had to learn the hard way, bro. I didn't have a Jerry Trades, you know, a Discord, SoCal trading group to help. So I do my best to kind of close the gap and share all the information with you guys. But yeah, this was an amazing trade, man. Around 1,600 bucks in less than an hour. I think it was a great execution. You know, money is great, but it's more so just transferring the information and education into you guys behind data-driven trading and investing, so you have more odds in your favor. Like, I literally can't express this enough, you know. Gather up as much tools in your belt to make sure you're a winner and take the guessing out the game, give you more conviction of it's gonna go, you know, green. And that's what I tell people too, like, this isn't gambling. You know, gambling and trading, that narrative that gambling and trading are like the same thing, it's false. If you hear about connections and acts getting passed like this with that much context behind them, tell me yes or no. With the Trump administration backing crypto, do you really think this bill was not going to get passed? It did. There you go. It doesn't take a genius. It just takes the eye, the mind to see it, the time, right? And that's what I tell you guys. Like, it's hard to close the gap through your job, day-to-day life, your family, your business. It's overwhelming sometimes, but surround yourself with those resources, that information, to kind of just put it out in front of you. You know, pay for groups, anything you can do, right? Like better news outlets, pay for media, direct access information, really. Hey, so you receive this information, you got to catch this train and make money like this. You know, that's 242%. No, that's 125% on like no more than probably like 300, 400 bucks. Look at the initial investment here on this Coinbase. It wasn't much. Oh, I mean, it was actually. $12.75 was the initial investment. So imagine you're this big shot, you know, you have super high confidence, you have this conviction. You know, I know someone else did it. The banking industries, the top dogs at Goldman Sachs, at, you know, Berkshire Hathaway, these traders at performing at that level are trading with millions of dollars. So imagine they do 10 million and you do 240, no, you do 125%. or you do even if you're more retail. You know, some individuals performing in business have an extra 10K sitting around there. Imagine not trading the whole year, but you have this one conviction, this one data-driven decision, and you put, you know, your 10,000 right there. Do 100, and you know, bro, took an hour for 125%. You just flipped it. Maybe you have 50K laying around. Conviction, boom, drive it, right expiration date, doubled it, just like that. And this is decision making that's driven by data, not just guessing. That's what I highlight here. So I hope you guys enjoy this, you know, kind of market recap, transfer information with you guys, and kind of just share the psychology that took me years to develop. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome, you know, to the channel if you're new. Leave a like and subscribe. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Jerry Trades and SoCat Trading Group, over and out.